Hi everyone. Happy full moon. This last super moon of the year 2024 is in Krittika Nakshatra. Just kind of inspired to just kind of quickly offer an update and especially about this nakshatra, Krittika. The energy of Krittika, which is Pleiades, has been coming up quite a bit this year, especially for me. And so there's a lot of things simmering around that. So whenever, the full moon is in a particular lunar mansion, like in this case, the Krittika Nakshatra, the Pleiades constellation, it kind of heightens for us the characteristics of this nakshatra. Right? So Krittika itself means to cut open. It's a breakthrough energy. So we, the full moon is a culmination, right? So we've really seen this, especially what's been transpiring at so many levels, however you may have sensed it. There have been a lot of breakthroughs. It's the star of fire and has that burning Agni. Agni is the deity, and also has that bringing light kind of. But the sensing of Krittika Nakshatra, if you really see Pleiades, is that it brings in light that is radical. So it's not the soft light, it's the kind of light that pierces through. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it really is an awakening kind of a light. So we're really seeing that, like this, for me, is really feeling like one of those again, right? We've moved deeper into, you can say, taken another turn into the depths of age of Aquarius, right? So it was like really dropping in even more. That was kind of being sent. So I was kind of want to share a little bit about Krittika Nakshatra, which will come up a little bit later. And kind of what was simmering in the field as well. One is, of course, that we will see radical shifts. We don't need to wait for 2025. We're already kind of sensing the energy of that year. It's going to bring a lot of shifts. It's going to be an eye-opening year. If you just simply put it as that, it's going to be eye-opening. It's going to be like the veil, is just going to open. We're going to see stuff. We're going to know stuff, again, at every level, whether it's within or outside, whatever. We're going to see things that we did not see or know before. So, a lot of big shifts happening. Of course, always the key, because this was simmering in the field as well, is to know that even more than doing, it's about being, right? Because everything is consciousness. And what state of consciousness we are vibrating as. That is the lived experience of our reality. So each of us at this point is just like this presence, this living light. So what happens is also that, when we awaken, we hold a certain state, right? And we are aware, right? Everything is only about that one thing, that which we already are, to be aware. Right? When we are that, we become powerful alchemists for this transformational phase. I kind of share with you in the context in which it came up, right? So, as we awaken, right, and we really get to see our truer self, which in one way we can say is the soul, right? And that means we also realize it's the collective soul. So this is us moving from the identity of the person, which is the five senses, right? We experience ourselves as a separate self in the body, to wake up and really see, my God, I'm awareness, right? That which is lit, all that is lit is actually within me, that which I am. So this is like the owning of the world, right, in that sense. And it's play. Right? So that's why we really see that's the soul, that's the light, solar light. So it's like that is the true sun actually. And then within which the soul has been playing as if it's a body, right, as a person. So we awaken from that identity. The person dissolves and you really see, oh my God. And that's kind of waking up to our truer self. And that's where we really, kind of see the nature, and then that becomes our responsibility at the level of the world, right, in that sense. Anyways, so what was coming up here also, which I want to mention if it's coming up now, is that this is waking up from the third density, what we call as the masculine dominant. That means the intellectual mind, five senses. Because as a person, that's our only way, self is reality. That's the way that we experience ourselves. That's how we experience a world of matter. Intellectual thought, right? Logical thought. That's our identity, like the past and the future. When we wake up, right? It's like that's the feminine and the masculine coming into a new level together. So that's can be sensed as the feminine rising or the masculine dissolving. It's the dominant masculine dissolving. It's the same thing, however you want to look at it. And that is becoming subtle, right? That's the feminine, right? When we say feminine, it's becoming subtle. That's the integrated self. We come into our wholeness. The key thing about that is that we become sensitive, right? Like there's higher sensing now, intuitive sensing. We become very, very sensitive. But what happens is many times when this shift is happening and we've still not fully integrated this sensitivity can still be interpreted through the personal lens. So that was coming up a lot, So if you're feeling very, very sensitive to whatever that is, of course, first and foremost, that's why take care of yourself. I remember at one point, I don't know where, either read it or somebody said it, but it was there. It's like saying, before I was born, the world was here. Even after I'm going to be gone, the world is going to be here. The world knows how to take care of itself. The first thing is that we can only show up for our world and for our loved ones and our communities, however you want to see it, wherever you find yourself, at the level of where we are, what our state of being is. So first and foremost, to take care of that, right? Most important. And this point is to know that the only reason, like I say, all of that which comes to surface to be seen, and we're going to even more see that this is simply the beginning. So everything that comes up to state naturally happens, like I've shared in my previous videos, because consciousness has shifted. Right? The level of awareness is what brings true change. Yeah? Nothing happens at the other level at all, right? We are dancing in the same identity. It's only when truly consciousness shifts, there's higher perception, there's higher sensing, right? That subtle sensing is there. But during that shift, many times, our identity is still at the personal level. So what happens is when we're feeling sensitive, I'm going to share about that. I'll even put the link up here about how it's our superpower actually. So in that context as well, when we interpret it again through the personal mind, then we feel, oh my God, we start feeling emotions, we start feeling whatever is there. See, when we become subtler, the nature of consciousness is that there is no boundaries. That's when you really realize, right? Because when we are, as a person, we are still living at the level of that identity that, okay, this is my thought, this is my emotion. We don't realize like that there's no boundary to consciousness. We're not kind of aware of that. When we get subtler, we really realize we are actually feeling, we are like the one body, of that ocean. Waves are coming into each other. So wherever we are fully not awake. It's like that subtle sensing, we take in the energies. So that's why the only answer to everything, if at all looking outside for an answer, is just be aware. That's all. That is like the whole package. Because the more and more we stand in our light, in our presence, right, more and more there is clarity for us. We can sense that. Yeah? And just this name, because this was coming up quite a bit, where it's like, oh my God, if we are in the ascended, state of consciousness and we are awake, and like, it's like, then why are we even more, why am I feeling even more this, these emotions, or why am I sensing all of this? All that kind of interpretation comes up. So to be kind of a little bit aware that it's not personal. That's one of the, it can really, really be helpful to hold that as a key, that it's not personal, right? Because you're feeling everything also around you. And that's why even more to giving ourselves permission to take whatever care we need to of ourselves, to know that, the play of this 3D play with the five senses which we look outside, right? And that, of course, is the nature of separate everything, right? It's like we don't have clarity at that level. See, the play of 3D when you're looking outside is in separation. And truly, we only meet each other or understand each other or at the level of our awareness. So everything is misty, and that is the valid play for 3D and Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. Right? It's the misty play. We don't really know. So it's like there's distance and there's all this. Nobody really knows what is truly happening. And the paradox thing of that is actually that coming more and more within us, the more present we become, the more aware we become, the more intuitive we become, kind of this play of time-space dissolves, and then there is a deeper knowing and a sensing, intuitive knowing. That doesn't necessarily require the proof and this thing from the five senses in that sense. So that comes from being aware. Being aware. You see deeper. You have a higher perspective of what is actually happening at every level, wherever you are. So that's the paradox kind of, you become more and more aware, more and more present, more into the unknowing, out of this thought that this gets activated. And that's why I'm very excited for the video that's kind of been unfolding, that's been coming through this. I was really hoping that I'll be able to kind of put it out now, like kind of felt right for me in that sense for full moon, but it has its own divine timing. It's taking me a little longer. The beauty of doing the work that which we are all now kind of stepping into an age of Aquarius, which is fluid, right? It's going to be so different. We're all going to be doing that which comes from our deeper self in that sense, right? The beauty of doing that kind of work it's really the sensing that you're not really doing anything that is outside of you. As you move to that which calls to your soul, that's moving as if through you, right, through the body, and you do this work, it's deeply transformative. So even these things, when I kind of do this, I'm in that flow state, and that state kind of, it's not like just do it and put it. It's not like Chronos time. That was sharing with somebody. It's like, it's really Kairos time. We're living as Kairos. It's like that flow state and you're doing it. So it has its own divine timings. But I'm excited to put that up, because in that, what really came through, it's all connecting these dots, right? So in the video, I'm sharing a little bit about brain waves, right? And especially helpful for some of us who may be very scientific. Otherwise, sometimes spiritual things, I often hear it's like, okay, that's for later in life, or that's not something that is real for our reality, practical life and what's going on in the world. Whereas that's the furthest from the truth. It's actually, because spirit and matter, the world of material world, are not separate. They're one and the same. And in fact, that is the source. Consciousness is the source. So it's directly related, and it's the direct path actually. That's why know thyself. Right? So I'm excited. So it was in brain waves, and how you can really see the brain waves that have, been mapped out, directly connecting to the yuga, that time and space reality that we are living, to the bodies, the koshas, to the chakras. So all that kind of, it's like this web that, connecting web, like receive the download and kind of really sense into that, and kind of that revelation. It's really Dakshinayana again, right? The tail end of Dakshinayana. By the way, this full moon, this is the last full moon lunar phase before winter solstice, before it shifts, and then it's Uttarayana. So this is like the depths, this is the dark goddess, dark feminine goddess, that phase. So in the darkness, that's our true nature, the unknown, is where the revelation is, the true light comes, the unseen, that which has not been seen before. So it's really that dark goddess time, like I say, like Kali, Kali's time. And the thing about Kali is that we all want Kali, right, in our life. But the truth of it is that Kali's light, when it cuts through, is not something that all of us like. It can be sharp, cutting. So it's like this Krittika is also exactly that. That's the light. But it's the divine feminine that is absolutely only love. And the cut is to cut open the veil that keeps us, right? That's why Kali wears the garland with the skulls, right? She's chopping off the head. That's the symbology that is given, right? She cuts off the identity that keeps us trapped in that way of being and seeing and that identity when the play is done. Of course, there's no Kali, there's no us. There's only one and the same, right? Kali actually is Kala, time, space, reality, consciousness playing as time, space, reality. So Kali is all states of mind. So she basically is just cutting her own head off. So anyway, so to come back to all of this, so all of this was happening. So the questions were coming from that. So we are moving through that phase, and we will feel like the waters again, right, churning. The more subtler we get, that's it. That's why the storm, which is timeless, spaceless, to be present to where we are and move from there as needed. So that's the invitation at this point. We are again, something else that's really coming because I really want to share this. Like it's like we're at, we've asked for this change that's happening right now, right? And we are here. If we are here at this point, it's one of the most exciting times. And what was coming up with this Krittika Nakshatra, like Pleiades, was also just this whole play, when you wake up even to what you might call, even at the material level, if I'm putting the words at the material level, but to kind of offer a picture. So instead of material, I'll say elemental level in that sense. This waking up, right, becoming aware, to know that which is in my awareness is that which I am, is to awaken to our celestial identity as a cosmic being. And it's also waking up to our celestial ancestry, right? We're very familiar with our ancestry at the level of our personal, typically with our family, right? And all of that. And then we know when it comes to the land that we come from, that is one ancestry as well, right? And then, of course, as humans, that we believe like this body belongs to Mother Earth. As humanity, that's one ancestry. You can say we see the human ancestry of, all of that, how it's happened. But waking up here is like to our celestial ancestry, because at the elemental level, when Earth wasn't even born, like one would say, like when everything was like gaseous, and all these that we see as the stars and all with these planets, like that is the cosmic womb, So the celestial planets that are there, this Pleiades, Sirius, Lyrans, Andromeda, it's like Arcturians, it's like just the whole, they are our celestial galactic family, right? And they've been watching over us as Earth has been coming into formation. It's like the baby, that is nurtured by the mother. You can say these are like the fathers and the mothers, you can say, our guardians, and the Earth evolving. And they've been kind of watching over us. One way to look at it, right? It was gaseous in that sense. So when we wake up, so this body belongs to Mother Earth, right? From the soil itself. And the material, you can say, even at the subtlest level, at the elemental level, belongs to these stars. So as we know, we come from the stars, and this experience, everything is made of star material. So when we awaken, these aspects get activated within us. So again, to put it in a small way, it's like we have no idea of that which we are. And any idea that we can even word will simply be at the level of mind and play. Right? Because as consciousness, of course, any idea you give to that which we are is simply a limitation at that level. Right? Just in order to play. But we really don't. So to kind of really keep that in mind, that those aspects, because these are soul essences, right? Every of these celestial, their particular kind of flavor, you can sense that. And that the more and more we kind of deepen, we are more aware, those kind of higher, that's the ascended state. Yeah? So we are all waking up to realizing we are ascended masters and ascended mistresses, to put it in that way, right? Call it, all of us, siddhi. This is consciousness experiencing siddhi. Siddhi simply means accomplishment, the ability. It's shakti. Siddhi is like a shakti. So at the personal level, to even be born as a human, even as a person, is a siddhi, right? Because it has the intellectual mind and the progress that we've made and all of that. This is completely another level. So we're living in really exciting times. The world that we are appearing to become, which is really unbecoming, right? It's not going to be the same at all. So we're really living in an exciting time. So all of these words kind of in service, just to kind of keep in mind that there's so much more happening, and be very mindful, take care of yourself. Not to kind of interpret that through just the personal limited 5 senses that sees, and the rest, of course, I'll also share in that upcoming video that will have a lot, that'll connect the dots for a lot of things that are happening. So, as you know, full moon brings up all of this, and the radiance of full moon light, of course, till we come into the full moon phase, into the light where we have, full moon, kind of like I said, brings to light those insights of that particular nakshatra. So Krittika nakshatra has certain characteristics of that comes to light. So that light and effect of that also is there prior to the full moon and even post that. So the waxing phase and now even the waning phase. So to be aware. And this is the last lunar phase of the Dakshinayana, right? So to kind of really be present now, here. It is a time of revelation and truly a time of celebration. Because all of life, no matter what we may meet, is in service for only one thing: awakening itself, right? What we say as we are life, awakening itself to its truer nature, truer identity. It's an ongoing thing. The journey is eternal. So I'll put that video up soon as well. So much love to living and celebrating an awakened body, mind, world. I'll see you next time.